Deep in the heart of an ancient Nigerian forest, a young hunter named Okoro roamed in search of game. He was tall and lean, with dark skin that glowed under the sun, and his sharp brown eyes scanned the undergrowth. He wore a faded red wrapper tied around his waist, a bow slung across his back, and a quiver of arrows resting against his shoulder. One fateful afternoon, as he stepped into a clearing, Okoro stumbled upon a strange sight, a human skull resting atop dry leaves. To his astonishment, the skull spoke, whispering, "Curiosity kills, but silence saves." Okoro gasped, his heart pounding. He stepped closer, eager to understand this mystery. Okoro had always been known for his restless curiosity. He crouched beside the skull, studying it carefully. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The skull did not respond again, as if it had never spoken. Okoro frowned, then chuckled to himself. "Perhaps hunger is making me hear things," he muttered. But the eerie encounter clung to his mind. That night, he resolved to share the tale with the village elders. Believing it too fascinating to keep to himself, the next morning, Okoro gathered the elders under the ancient baobab tree. The gray-bearded men listened as he recounted his discovery, their wrinkled faces filled with doubt. Chief Oba, an elderly man with wise eyes, sighed and said, "Skulls do not talk, my son. Perhaps you were dreaming." The villagers laughed, shaking their heads. "A talking skull. Impossible," they jeered. But Okoro stood firm. "I am not lying," he insisted. "If you follow me, I will prove it." The elders, though skeptical, agreed to accompany him. Okoro led the group through the thick forest, his heart racing with excitement. His bare feet moved swiftly over the damp earth as they approached the clearing where he had seen the skull. The elders followed cautiously, their colorful wrappers swaying in the wind. When they arrived, Okoro pointed at the skull triumphantly. "There. Speak now, skull, and tell them what you told me." He waited, holding his breath. But the skull remained silent. The elders exchanged amused glances. "Where is the talking, Okoro?" one of the elders scoffed. Laughter rippled through the group as they mocked his claim. Chief Oba shook his head. "You have wasted our time," he said. "Lies are dangerous, young man." Okoro's face burned with humiliation. He knelt before the skull, whispering, "Speak, please." But the skull remained lifeless. Frustrated and desperate, he kicked it, sending it rolling across the ground. Still, it did not utter a word. The elders, angered by Okoro's deception, decided he needed to be punished. "A hunter who spreads false tales cannot be trusted," Chief Oba declared. "You have disrespected us." They bound Okoro's hands with rope and led him back to the village. His pleas fell on deaf ears. The villagers, believing him to be a liar, agreed that he should be exiled for his foolishness. Banished from his home, Okoro wandered through the wilderness. His once bright eyes were now filled with sorrow, and his once proud posture was bent with regret. He had lost everything because of his reckless tongue. Days turned to weeks, and his strength waned. He returned to the forest, the place where his troubles began, seeking shelter under the very tree where he had found the skull. As Okoro lay weak and hungry, the skull suddenly spoke. "Now you see," it murmured, "curiosity kills, but silence saves." Okoro's eyes widened in horror. "Why did you not speak before?" he croaked. But the skull only repeated its chilling words. Understanding dawned too late, his own foolishness had sealed his fate. Alone and abandoned, Okoro took his final breath beside the talking skull. The forest grew quiet, as if mourning him. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying the skull's words into the night. Days later, passing hunters found his lifeless body. The village soon heard of Okoro's fate, and silence fell upon those who had once mocked him. They realized too late that wisdom often comes at a heavy price. From that day forward, the villagers warned their children, "Be careful with your tongue. Words can be your downfall." The story of Okoro and the talking skull was passed down through generations. And deep in the forest, the skull remained, waiting for the next curious soul to ignore its warning, "Curiosity kills, but silence saves."